Ladies and gentlemen, by surprise, Andre C. Martinez and I will be able to play a game of Edge of the Empire together. This is something that we've been wanting to do for several months, but just simply haven't been able to. So, without further ado talking about it, let's get ready to play. This one-shot, featuring Andre as an explorer named Gavin Fell, will be called Forgotten Son. We'll get to Andre in a second to talk about his character, but first, what is Star Wars without an opening blurb? So, Star Wars. Not all adventures are against the Empire. Some are moments of pure bravery on worlds that have not known the footsteps of an intelligent being in millennia. In the depths of the Outer Rim, out on the fringe, there are planets circling forgotten suns, the lure of which cannot be resisted by those who explore the lost hyperspace lanes, looking for dreams they barely know they have, following obsessions that not even they understand. Gavin Fell is one such explorer, one such obsessive, a forgotten son among the forgotten sons of the fringe.
Yay.
Andre, tell us a little bit about Gavin Fell, explorer.
Gavin Fell is a character I thought up as an NPC for my current game that I'm running on my channel, but he has yet to enter into the game. He's a couple of episodes away from even being introduced, but Gavin's situation is he was never brought to fruition until Anthony said, "Hey, we're going to play one shot," and I was like, "Okay."
I'm just going to make it.
Yeah, yeah. So as we're making Gavin, I had an idea for him, and it just so happens that as I was building the character sheet, it came out that he's obviously Alderaanian. That's the plot within my game, and Gavin is as a result of the destruction of Alderaan, he's seeking out his lost family members and kins throughout the galaxy. He's trying to reunite and regain a sense of familial connection with those that share his ancestry. Finding these individuals has been quite a challenge. He is not an explorer in the past. He's a big, kind of heavy-set, burly guy like myself. Just worked in the trade docks and a laborer of sorts, and as a result of the destruction of Alderaan, he had to resort to finding people that he could have some type of connection with. So he took what little money he had left over and purchased a YT-1000 and abandoned Tatooine, where he was at the time, and started looking for his family, and or for people who would know of those that were connected to him in some type of way. But since then, the travels have had a large impact on him, and as a result of that, he's actually found a hunger for exploring now. A hunger so great that it's almost an obsessive hunger, that he has a call to explore well beyond just seeking out family. But that's the fuel to the fire. He's now an explorer, and he's also seeking his family with a great obsession.
Cool. Cool. All right. So let's take a quick look at your ride as my dogs start to argue with each other. You can probably hear them.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So what is the name of this ship?
This. Oh God. 2 seconds.
Put you on the spot.
Yeah. The Foggy Horizon.
Foggy Horizon. All right. Done. Okay. So let's begin. You are seeking traces of family. Alderaan has been nothing but rubble now for the better part of a year. The Rebel Alliance is growing in strength on the back of the spreading rumors of its destruction. But talk seems more to be about military successes, triumph over what the Empire insists it was an armored battle station, not something with the fearsome name of Death Star. Survivors have been flowing further and further out from the core, places where they can be safe, places where they can gather. You find yourself coming out of hyperspace, entering a new system, a system in the Arcanus sector. Close to hut space, close to the industrial sectors of the CSA. All you have at the moment are some rumors of refugees being dumped unceremoniously on worlds barely able to sustain them. Their money taken, their resources taken. The system itself, according to your initial reports as you arrive in it, are that there are several worlds which would be fairly comfortable for humans and similar species. There are large gas giants, two of which have habitable or semi-habitable moons.
Upon viewing these moons that look semi-habitable, Gavin goes to his astrogation unit and starts plotting coordinates to the nearest one to the ship. He starts mumbling to himself, "They're out there. They're over there. Gotta be there. I know it." He just starts typing away. Beep, 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 beep. Tries to get.
Traveling by yourself for too long.
Yeah, gotta be there. I know.
The foggy horizon has been heavily automated to make it easier for one person to handle. As you drift slowly in through the hyperspace, or away from the hyperspace lane, your experience is telling you this would be a fantastic hiding place for smugglers, pirates, and other people who like to do things beyond notice.
There's gotta be trouble here. Trouble means most likely there's gonna be some refugees. That means I'm gonna get some family connections. I gotta go over there. Starts fumbling through scanners, as I'm not sure what his distance is to the nearest moon, as all of these details are revealed to him. But even if he's not close enough, he starts, because he's been out in space so long, he still fumbles through the scanners trying to find life forms or any rogue ships that would imply that some nasties are around, or even some refugees.
Right. Okay. Well, you are too far out for a decent scan of the world, but
come on.
At the hyperspace point, this is always a good place to scan. So why don't you assemble for me a computers check?
Okay, let me bring up my computers. Ooh, go ahead. What's the difficulty?
Difficulty will simply be standard.
So let's see.
Okay.
Rolling. 3 successes.
3 successes. Nicely done. One thing we forgot to do, because we just kind of launched into things for fun, is could you give me a force die roll to see what our destiny pool is?
Yes, sir. 1 force die.
I'm expecting blacks.
I hope so. I want bad news. 2 whites.
2 light. Okay, so I'll add them to your pool, and you can spend them as you need.
All right.
Okay, so you've got 3 successes. There are no readings of recent travel, but there's floating garbage.
Yeah. You would think they'd clean up this place. All right.
He just goes into his computer, starts plotting in coordinates, and sets his trajectory towards the nearest small planet of the gas giant again, as if he had never done it before. He completely forgot that he did it before. He he just puts it in and he starts kind of batting on the dash. Come on, let's go. The fact that he has not found anyone with his scans makes him feel sort of suspicious of the event, just period, considering the scenario that is before him, 2 habitable planets on 2 gas giants. He starts to whisper to himself,
somebody's got to be out there. I got to pursue some kind of caution.
So he takes an even pace with the ship towards the.
So while you're waiting, for the results to be returned, your eye is caught by the sensor screen. The garbage is just there floating,
Right.
And you're just drifting out there in the hyperspace point, and something that looks like a body is floating amongst the garbage.
All right. I seize the engines, and immediately I start to. Is it close enough where I can see it through the porthole, or do I have to move the ship to a closer?
You're going to have to move closer.
Okay. I do it. I do it immediately, as best as I can.
Okay. So moving the ship to a point in space is easy enough. And one moment, I'm about to be assaulted by my puppies. Just going to mute myself here for a second.
In space. All right. So while that's happening, for those of you who are watching, Gavin reaches under the controls, grabs a sort of tin porcelain alloy cup, and fills it with some recycled water. He's been out so long, and he just takes a sip of the water and starts looking around, holding this little mug of water and looking outside the window, seeing if he can identify this object's person.
So what you see drifting out there, there is indeed a body, and the body's still hanging on to a blaster as it rotates in amongst regular garbage, empty food containers and that sort of thing, the non-recyclable wastes of space travel. And it's a human, or what's left of a human that's been exposed to hard vacuum for a while.
How in Sarlacc's tooth did you get here? Why would you be out in the void? Why did you jettison yourself from a ship? Were you destroyed?
He takes his computer and he starts to scan the wreckage, seeing if he could decipher whether it is the destroyed ship or the wreckage of something else. That a station or something. Is this wreckage of a small vessel? He wants to be able to identify and associate this floating body with the wreckage.
Right. There's not enough mass for it to be wrecked anything, but it's fairly standard for larger ships to dump their garbage before jumping to hyperspace, just to leave a treat for the natives behind. And it's that kind of thing: food packets, containers, emptied containers, broken parts, and this body.
Bad time to stow away, huh? You got caught up in the drift. Shame.
He just goes back to his computer. He replots his, re-engages his his engines and starts to go towards the moon again.
Okay.
Gotta keep an eye out. There's a good chance that was not what I think it was.
As you drift in system to come to the nearest moon out by one of the gas giants, it slowly comes into view in your sensors. And this is a trip of several hours, 6-7 hours,
Right.
of waiting as the
Right.
information slowly comes in of a largely water world, kept warm enough to not be icy by reflected energy from the gas giant and tectonic activity below the surface. And there's indication of a signal buoy around this moon. An old model that would simply notify someone that a ship has entered or left orbit.
Classic tech. Old ship. Not good. If it's an old ship, it's gonna bring new problems. Still, if it's there, that means either there's an abandoned vessel or someone's hiding out. I'm gonna go there. That's the best place I've got. I had no other.
He starts talking to the ship.
Foggy, come on, you gotta give me more than this. This is ridiculous.
Unsurprisingly, the ship does not answer.
All right. Well, it's a start.
So he starts to head towards the signal.
Right.
Blindly, not scanning, just his obsession is taking him over.
Okay. The as you near the moon, no further information is offered by Foggy Horizons about the signal buoy, but it does allow you a glimpse at the second habitable moon, which doesn't seem to be anywhere near as habitable as this one. But it does have a breathable atmosphere. It doesn't have a marker buoy around it kicking out a signal.
All right, so where the buoy is not as habitable. Where there is no buoy, it is habitable.
The most habitable planet, or moon, has the buoy.
Oh, okay. All right, that's good news.
That's good. Breathable air is gonna be.
And he takes a deep breath of the cabin.
Foggy, you're nice, but you're starting to stink like me.
So he plots a course. He says,
Looks like we're gonna go where there's life.
Okay. All righty.
Starts to walk around. As you're saying that, he just starts to walk around the cabin, starts to pack a bag because he knows he's going to go outside. Puts his heavy blaster in there and some food stores and a little bit of water.
What did you settle on as your piloting rating?
Oh, I think it was a 1 or 1 or 1. Yeah, it wasn't. We didn't even explore it, so it would have just been a 1.
Okay. So, whereabout would you like to land?
All right. So, shall I narrate that? Okay. As Gavin is flying Foggy, he spots in his scanners a little plateau, if you will. It seems to be raised above what would seem to be a habitable landscape. I'm not sure if there's vegetation or not. I'll leave that to you. But on this plateau, he sees that it's large enough to handle Foggy, and that's really what he wants. He wants to make sure that the ship is going to go someplace that's stable.
So it's a largely oceanic surface. There's archipelagos of scattered islands, mostly volcanic and in nature, and there are massive upthrusts of mountains with sheared off sections from periods of volcanic bombing and whatnot. There are quite a few good places like that for you to land. Vegetation is pretty heavy on the islands around the equator and significantly sparser toward the north. As you come in, the buoy sends off a signal, which broadcasts out into space, but also receives an answer from the northern hemisphere of this moon.
He goes, Podo. He starts looking around. Somebody spotted me. All right, what are we going to do, Foggy? Starts manipulating the controls to get to the surface as soon as he can, to get to low ground to avoid from being seen immediately. He does not like the fact that.
Okay. Well, let's do a piloting check then.
Right, let's do that. All right.
The stakes of this roll are that you are descending as quickly as you can through the atmosphere and getting to a, let's say, below radar position to search for your landing ground as soon as possible.
Okay, and what's the difficulty?
The difficulty for that will be hard. You're quite exposed, and you've already set off the trigger.
All right, so it's 3.
Right. And you have an old ship, so I'm applying a setback.
But I'll use my piloting skill and remove the setback.
All right, your skilled jockey.
Skilled jockey. All right, so here we go. Before I roll, I'm going to narrate what he's. Poor guy says. He goes, gotta get down there now. Come on, Foggy. And he starts going, and Foggy's shaking. And he's holding on to the. Come on, let's go. And he rolls, and yes.
Look at that. Success and an advantage. All right. So it's not an easy ride down by any stretch of the imagination. Applying 1 strain to Foggy and 1 strain to you.
All right. Check.
All right, so you're now down below this heavy ridge line of dark mountains, which quickly become a valley.
Okay.
Right, so you've come screaming down out of the sky, leaving a blazing trail of gases in the upper atmosphere, and then jinking off to the side, so the trajectory is different. And come down behind this massive wall of rock, which is now about this big.
Right.
You're gonna go back up, or you're gonna roll her over to go through, or?
I'm gonna roll her over to go through. I'm gonna do it.
Pilot.
All right.
Same difficulty.
Oh, God.
No failure.
No failure.
No failure. Just threat.
All right.
So you wanted to turn her on her edge and fly through.
Come on, let's go, Foggy.
That's not happening.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
So you're back up above the rim of mountains, and I will apply the 3 strain to you.
All right, now I'm not feeling too hot. I am down to 7. All right, I'm sweating profusely. I can't see the controls very well, just in complete panic mode. Start banging on the dash. Come on, Foggy. Look.
Foggy's rolling over. You're getting a great view of the landscape down below. The valley that you wanted to be in now has this trickle of fast-flowing water and a bright metallic glint. And then it rolls over, so your proper orientation again, and shooting above the top of the mountains over the plains. Over the plateau, not the plains.
Over the plateau. Okay. Can I slow down? Just
absolutely.
Okay, I'm gonna slow down. All right. And then I start screaming at Foggy. Did you see it? It was shiny, and we missed it. Come on.
Foggy has nothing to say. this point.
All right. He tries to regain his composure. Obviously, at this point, he is so stressed out. Um, he doesn't even know if he's going to plot the correct coordinates to actually navigate the ship where he needs to go towards, to the plateau where he saw that shiny thing.
Right.
But he does know this. That is what he wants to do. So what he does is, obviously we're still flying in a direction away from that specific.
Right. Coming up on the ocean.
Yeah, he slowed down. He slowed down the ship, and he is going to just, he's going to seize the ship, let it hover, and he's going to stand up. He's just going to, okay, we have to make a deal. You cannot do that again. And he's just absolutely out of his mind. Goes into the manifest for the ship. Manifest is a pad, types in. He starts typing it, and he goes, repair Foggy's ability to not listen to me. Okay.
There's a series of red lights quietly blinking off behind your shoulder. And way out in front, a massive creature erupts out of the ocean. Long, elongated, doesn't have fins, but it does have a finned, classic fin, like whale-like tail. Completely breaks through the surface. Then unfurls these huge wings, which in the vast distance between you makes you wonder if it has similar width to Foggy itself.
Mm-hmm.
And the sensors actually pick it up.
Okay.
It's that large.
All right. I'm not going to say that this is going to be a difficult maneuver, but I think that any pilot that has used a ship like this would know how to spin on the z-axis.
Oh, sure.
Okay, so that Gavin just runs to the controls and he goes, "Okay, now you have to listen to me." And he just turns on the z-axis. All right, so the ship's there, and the boosters are facing the beast, and
which is miles away.
He just, it's miles away. Doesn't matter. He does not care. Gavin does not care. He just wants to go back towards the direction from which he came, which I am assuming he could still see the trail blaze coming from the atmosphere, missing the plateau that he was going to. So he takes the ship and tries to go back towards that direction to where he saw the glint, and he says to Foggy, "That way we don't go." And he just goes straight.
The sensors record a massive sonic blast from the direction of the giant creature. Not toward your ship, just that it exists. And then there's, the creature itself disappears from the scope, presumably gone back down below the surface of the waves. Who knows what you've just witnessed. A xenology lore check may let him know if he cares. But if he doesn't,
oh yes, absolutely, he would care. He starts with himself as he makes the check. 1 second, I have to see. Okay, what's the difficulty?
2.
All right, he starts whispering to himself. I know what that is. It's a.
You do know what that is.
Yes.
Okay, 1 success, 2 advantages. The name escapes you, but this is a truly huge, peaceful creature that hunts using sound waves. And those 2 advantages will let you know that if there's one species on this planet that hunts in that very unusual way, stunning its creatures with a concentrated blast of sound, there will be other species that also do so.
He immediately, as you know, the ship is flying in that direction. He lets go of the controls. He taps a button. He goes, "Foggy, take us down." He kind of plots the coordinates down towards the plateau. As Foggy's flying that direction, he gets up, goes in the back cabin, pulls, goes shuffles through something, and I can roll for this if you want or not. But he has some kind of like noise cancellation
Of
headphones.
course. Yeah.
Okay, he grabs them, he puts them over, and he goes, "Look, I can't hear you very well, Foggy, but I have a feeling these are going to be needed." And he keeps them on.
You get back just in time to pass over that wide spot in the river again.
Mm-hmm.
And the metallic glint is much easier to see from this direction, not obfuscated by the flare of light. It's wreckage. It's ship wreckage.
All right.
Maybe a large container or freighter pod from a mid-bulk or bulk freighter. A shipping.
Ha ha! We got them. We got something. I told you, Foggy. Ship wreckage. Let's go. Come on.
And then he just starts to descend towards it.
So you descend down to the plateau. No place to land down in the bottom of the valley. It's all river.
Okay.
And so you'll have a hike down through the rocky terrain down into the valley below, 200-300 meters.
Just so for the audience's sake, Gavin's built like me. He's a heavy guy. He's more round than he is tall. So he looks out the porthole. He goes, "You gotta be kidding me." "All right, Foggy, you stay here." He goes into the back cabin, grabs some horribly, just completely scuffed up boots that he worn in several other escapades that he's had. And he just kind of puts them on. He says, has his headphones on. He says, puts his bag that he prepared for himself with, little simple rations and his heavy blaster. And I'm assuming that the ship is in a specific location where he can disembark.
Yep.
Okay. The landing pad goes down, hisses, and he taps on. You hear the boom, boom. "All right, Foggy, I'm going. You stay here."
There's a small display panel by the door which gives you the temperature reading. It's a
Right.
nice spring afternoon from his
Right.
perspective, and
Right.
chance of rain later in the day.
As soon as he gets out, starts looking around, takes a deep breath. What's the smell?
Well, the smell is heavily floral. There's no obvious flowers in view, but it's that very, very humid, early spring cut grass kind of smell with a heavy, almost sickening overlay of floral perfume just drifting on the wind, even over all the heavy metallic and fuel scents of an frankly ancient ship like Foggy.
Can I use my lore check as a catch-all to see if there's any imminent danger from the ecology?
You absolutely can.
I will do that, sir.
How many explorers have been poisoned by their environment just by breathing?
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. My catch-all is okay. I have a good catch-all. What's the difficulty going to be?
Difficulty on this will be 3.
Okay, and I roll. As I'm going to sort of narrate before I roll.
Sure.
He puts his fingers in his mouth, starts waving his fingers as if he's in. It's a completely idiotic motion, but it looks like something that he's done many times. So he's waving his finger in the air. He's making these symbols, and he goes, "I know this," and he goes, and there it is.
Ooh.
As a result of that, he says, "Safe." Look at me.
Well, that means, Andre, that that you want the failure to be Interesting.
Imminent.
All right.
Go ahead, narrate. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, he's not in any physical danger, but he's starting to feel really good. Relaxed. A little chatty.
Turns around. Oh, yes, he loves that. He turns around to Foggy and goes, "You're going to like it here." He starts to, as a result of that, he starts to sloppily skip.
Right. I'm going to take away one of your strain as a result of your newfound feelings of chemical joy.
Wow. Okay. All right. So he starts to. He has I'm assuming, and if it's okay with you, Mr. GM, he has a data pad where he can type in findings, and he starts to talk to himself. Environment seems safe. He doesn't use big words. He's new to it. He's not a natural explorer.
Right.
Smells good and humid. Done.
And it really is humid.
All right.
It's like 90%. The ship indicated it would rain sometime later today, but that could actually be any minute now. And at this kind of place, it might rain for 5-10 minutes straight down really hard and then be sunny again.
But he would assume would that be an assumption on his part, or is he noticing that that's the way he is?
That's a given. Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
So, all right, you're in this bowl of peaks, this pretty wide plateau. Sun's beaten down, but any minute the clouds could just roll over the top of the peaks and just unload.
Oh, okay.
Could be a mist, could be a fine mist, could be a torrential downpour. Who knows?
He doesn't care. He's feeling great. He's
right.
feeling great.
Now, unfortunately, he's feeling so good that I'll need you to make a resistance check, which I'm fairly sure you don't have resistance, so that will default.
Horrible. Okay, let's see what he's got for resistance. I don't have a resistance.
Right, so we'll go to the default attribute.
Of which one is that? I'm trying to see I can't even see resistance here. Where is it? Oh, there it is. It's 2.
Right, so 2 green versus 2 difficulty. So it's just a standard difficulty to resist this because you're a big strapping guy.
Right.
However, I'm going to add setback because you've been breathing deeply.
Yes. I'll take the setback. All right. So I'm not sure what would motivate this or what is even coming his way, but from the PC's perspective, Gavin is he's walking around, and I said he was walking lightly, and he starts humming to himself.
Well, it just seems like a really great place to take a nap.
Right. Oh, yeah. He starts to puts his knee down, and he rolls.
Okay. A success with 3 threats. All right there. You get your knee down. Right?
Yep.
And you're feeling good. Your guard is down. This is just an awesome little planet. There's wreckage, And as your knee hits the ground, you see this little pod, just like a vegetable pod, like a pea pod kind of thing.
Okay.
And it's broken from where your foot was, and this oil, this very aromatic, fragrant oil, has squirted out. And you were taught about this type of plant many, many times. The death of so many adventurers, explorers, scouts who are lulled to sleep and then eaten by whatever predator happens to wander by.
He because he's still feeling so intoxicated, he looks at the pod and he identifies the slime or substance, and he's just so happy. and he goes, Necrophil. This is great. I have never seen this in front of me. I've never touched this stuff before. This is awesome. He just starts. He takes the necrophil and he's putting it between his fingers, and he's he's this is not so bad. He takes his finger and he rubs it off in the dirt. But something doesn't feel right. I'm assuming.
That's right. He's able to stay awake. Takes 3 strain.
That's tough.
As the panic in the sane part of his mind, there's nobody here to help him.
So he does one of these. He goes, Necrophil, this is really oh my God. This is the worst situation I can be in. And he just completely just starts crying. He has no idea how he's going to get out of it. He knows he's touched this necrophil. He knows that he's stranded. Starts looking around for help. Just, you know, and, Foggy!
On the bridge of the foggy horizons, the 3 blinking red lights that were indicating trouble go green.
This is the most bizarre game of Star Wars I have ever played. This is awesome. I love this. All right. So he in a panic. He's crying. He takes his pad out and he's like waving his scan, looking around, seeing if he can get a signal so he could reach someone else when it's scanning for someone else in the region.
The datapad lets you know it's about to rain.
Come
Rain
on!
is imminent.
Yeah, he's just yelling at the heavens. Really? And he's just, but at the same time, he's still happy. He's going up and down. His emotions are, laughing. And he just keeps on scanning. And he says, nobody's here. Okay. All right. And he just tries to stand up and continue to walk down towards the glistening thing.
Lightning splits the sky. Rain, drops the size of your fist, come exploding out of clouds that he's been too preoccupied to notice, rolling in.
All right.
Just pounding down. And with the cold shock of rain, the effect of the necrophil will be lessened over the next few minutes. And as the rain is just slamming into you, a ship, you can't catch the make or model, but you do see the bright flare of its engines just rips by overhead.
What? Ah! And he's just the rain's coming on him. He's looking over there, sees the ship pass, and he looks up the hill as how far he is from Foggy, and he knows that he has to go chase that ship. He's completely not even interested in whatever was down there anymore. He has to go back to Foggy. With the rain, I'm assuming the terrain sucks, but he doesn't care, and he starts heading back towards the ship. Foggy!
Slipping, sliding.
Right. All right. You let me know if he makes it safe or not.
No trouble. It's a plateau. It's a gentle grade. The number of times you fall down is equivalent to the number of times you stand up.
All right. So he's fallen and standing. Finally gets so he can embark on Foggy. He hits the wall like almost if it's natural, like he's done it 1,000 times. Hits the side of the wall, and then the plank raises, and as it raises, he starts to walk in, and he just looks at the ship, and he goes, "Thank you," and walks to the front porthole, grabs the controls, and he starts to use whatever scanners or astrogation techniques that he's learned over time to find the last known trajectory of that ship that just passed over him, see if there's a signature that was left. And as he also, I'm assuming, enters Foggy, he starts to snap out of whatever he was in. I'm not sure.
Sure. Yep. So by the time you get in your chair, get out of your soggy coat and everything,
Right.
your mind's pretty clear, maybe a little slow, but
Right.
pretty clear. And the cold shock of rain definitely helped. And the water's just cascading down over the front canopy of Foggy like you're under a waterfall, and the whole cavernous ship is just echoing with the pounding of the rain.
So he even almost surprising himself because he's so sober-minded, at least to the point of compared to what he used to be. Gavin goes through moments of clarity, but they're so short and so brief that the only witness to these moments is the ship. And he says for a brief second, he says, "There's obviously something going on here." He starts to whisper to himself, "The environmentals could sustain a good hideout for someone, and a ship blasting this speed and this trajectory, this low ground, somebody's running from someone else." And then all of a sudden, he kind of just snaps back into his old Gavin and goes, "What the hell, Foggy? I just want to get out the rain." And he just punches it and tries to go the direction that, whatever. Does he have to do an astrogation check or some type of track? Okay, so he goes in the direction of the ship, tries to find a signature, and he punches it. He's trying to go.
All right.
They're moving.
So you get settled in as you're firing the ship up and having your conversation with yourself. You know that your ship's ID tag has been pinged by an SOS. And as the engines are coming up online, your guess is proven true. There is another larger ship which is just about to break over the ring of mountains that you're settled in. And as you get the engines online, it's going to go right over top. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And it blasts past in the same trajectory as the first much smaller ship, without pausing.
All right. And the SOS came from that ship, according to my scans?
From the first ship.
From the first ship. You
had been pinged while you were outside.
Fair enough. Notices the pursuit, and he says, man of many words, takes the controls, tries to follow the pursuing ship. "Let's see what you're made of." And he just turns the ship and says, "Come on, Foggy, we got some business. I don't like bullies."
The pursuing ship is also Corellian, like yours, round, a much more modern YT, what some people call an outrider.
"Oh, you're pretty."
The YT 2400, and it's according to your scanner, as you get up above the stone rim that forms the plateau, it's catching, it's gaining on the ship that's pursuing. A ship that's not trying to go for the upper atmosphere. It's maintaining its near Earth trajectory.
All right. He starts to whisper because of the loss of his family, the connection he's trying to make. He does not like bullies. The Death Star was the ultimate bully, and he reflects on those moments subconsciously and says that all bullies must be destroyed. So he engages his weapons on the ship, and he starts to whisper to Foggy under his breath, "Time to take out the bad guys." And he just readies his weapons, and I'm assuming we're going to go into combat.
All right.
And he's going to fire.
So you bring your weapons online, and you're out of range. You'll have to maneuver more closely to get in range, and they begin firing on each other. One puny cannon being blaster cannon, which are derided galaxy-wide for their ineffectual range, their inability to damage any kind of significant armor, is blasting backward at its pursuer, which is leveling significantly heavier laser cannons at it, but not hitting.
I punch it.
they're jinking left and jinking right and trying to use the terrain to the best of their ability, but the Outriders maintaining a higher position and almost like waiting them out. And they're heading toward a massive storm. You want to get closer. All right.
Yes. No,
increase your speed.
Gavin's obsession would be to firstly would be to alleviate the bully, to just completely eliminate him from the equation. And because he's in such high strain, he's almost convinced that the passengers on the weaker ship are people that can help him find what he needs. So he is going to pursue the ship as fast as he can, and he wants to subdue that ship at all costs. He starts to hail, and if he possibly can, if they'll hear him, and he says, "You bad Caputo, we're gonna suffer for what you're doing," and he just keeps on going.
Okay, so Gavin's state of mind, I'm kind of curious about shields.
Right. Well, we have 4 positions as shields for the ship, right?
2 in a ship like this.
Okay, so then he would have shields in the front. You put them up in the front.
He's going to use them? Okay, that's just I was concerned if he was going to use them or not.
Yes,
I think it's a good idea to use them.
Yes, sir.
Wise. Okay. All right. Now this ship has a speed of 2. The ship you're pursuing is faster. They are going to gain ground on you unless you can goad them into turning on you or.
Is there any terrain that I can fire upon that they are approaching that would fall upon their ship?
That would fall on their ship?
Or cause debris to hit their ship?
The evading ship is hugging the terrain. The pursuing ship has risen above them and is pursuing them from high above.
All right. I hail the smaller ship. I'm not sure if they'll even hear me, but I say, "Put the brakes on!"
In that friendly tone of voice.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I say. I don't say anything that even infers that I'm friendly. I just say, "Put the brakes on!"
You're getting a looped message, right? You get it right in the middle as soon as you establish contact with the smaller ship, which is saying, we have been abandoned on an uninhabited world, seeking escape, needing assistance from anyone. This begins to repeat again. We're a band of settlers looking for,
All right, so that's continuing, and Gavin just looks at, dumbfounded. He's still suffering all this strain, and he presses this red notchy button and goes, "If you want to live, stop."
They're swinging around, and dimly, if that person didn't have a capital city accent, you're not an explorer.
Capital City. What are you doing here? All right.
It doesn't change his course of direction. As far as he's concerned, that even motivates him more to save that ship. He tries his best to mimic an accent of someone from the capital city. He has no idea what to do. He's completely dumbfounded and suffering all this strain. So he says in a really broken capital city accent, he says, "I think you should slow down so I may fire upon this ship as it slows down as well." And just horrible. Anything. But
so another message light is blinking, not from the ship but from the comm, indicating someone else wants to talk to you.
I acknowledge it.
Okay. So as you're acknowledging it, the fleeing vessel, the small fleeing vessel, hooks around a mountain and has completely changed direction. It's no longer going straight ahead. It has ripped off to port, and so the YT 2400 is going in this long, graceful arc. And as you open up the comms, they say, "I don't think your intention to fire on us is well considered."
Um, okay, so what Gavin does is, as the smaller vessel turns around and they speak that message of, with that coy kind of attitude.
Total attitude.
Huh?
Total attitude.
Yeah, total attitude. Gavin goes. He presses the button, the green button, the comm button. He goes, "I don't think you know how stupid I am." And he unplugs he takes his button off, and he continues his pursuit. But as he does that, he puts his button on the green button again. And he goes, "Watch out!" And he fires at the mountain that they're approaching on their pursuit. He opens fire.
Okay. Hitting a mountain is no big challenge.
Well, what he's trying to do is have some type of debris hit the ship. So, I'll roll for the difficulty on this, but what he's trying to do is hit a specific strategic point in the mountain so that something can cause the ship to lose its course.
Right. Okay, so the little ship's shooting off.
Yeah.
The YT's gracefully arcing around the mountain. Gavin opens fire.
Yes, he does.
So
he's not going to survive this, but it's going to be fun.
Okay, so normally I would roll for initiative. This is an ambush, really. Opening fire in the middle of negotiations. So we'll forego initiative for the moment and go right to Gavin trying to use gunnery, which is based on his agility.
All right, so that's going to be all right. So he is going to what's the difficulty?
The difficulty would, at this range with these two ships would normally simply be 2. Right. But you have something else in mind. Right. So we're going to up it to 4. It's daunting, I'm afraid.
That's okay. I'm going to use a destiny point and upgrade. And I'm going to try.
Okay. Good luck to you.
All right. Do I get... Oh, no, you didn't give me a setback, right?
No, it's hard enough.
I'm going to do it. Come on. Come on. This is why we play role-playing games. All right, here we go.
Look at that.
All right, I'll take it. I get 2 successes. All right, fine. I'll take it.
And it's not easy.
No.
2 successes. Okay. And 3 strain.
Yes.
Okay. You're a wild man.
All right. I'm going to be an insanely dead man soon, but okay.
If you say so. Okay, so I'm going to apply the 3 strain to Foggy.
Ooh.
The ship strain.
Yes, sir.
Okay, as you try and manhandle it into position, because you've got to control the guns from here, right. and firing them in fixed position against the mountain. They, of course, stop their forward trajectory, but you're still slamming forward at high speed, coming in close. Mm-hmm. So the top of the mountain just erupts, right? Their pilot sends the Outrider screaming down to the deck, down to the surface of the water below, and small particles blast across Foggy's hull as you cross over the top of the mountain. Now you're in position above them. They're going straight down. The little ship is escaping. And based on the string of of expletives coming through the radio. You may have drawn their ire and have probably drawn their fire.
Good. All right. Instead of pursuing combat, I I put my button. I know that they're a faster ship than me. I know that they can catch me. So accelerating beyond anything, it's just not going to happen. And with the low amount of, I am in absolute insane conditions right now as far as my mentality is concerned. I pressed the button, and I there's more where that came from. Leave him alone.
Who are you? It comes back over the comm, and you hear some more swearing in the background as the Outrider's coming around. And
Because this is Captain Fell of the Foggy Horizon. Leave that ship alone. And that's kind of all he says.
okay, so they're ripping around. They're going to go for a high altitude again. They seem to like to attack from above.
Right. Do I get a maneuver or a counter maneuver?
Yeah.
Or, okay. I face the ship towards them, shields up front, and I accelerate.
Okay. Ramming speed.
Yep.
Okay. So they're climbing, right? They're climbing at a speed of 3. You're climbing at a speed of 2, right? This is as fast as your ship can go. This makes things pretty dangerous.
Right.
And they recognize that you're on their tail.
Right.
They do a fall over.
Okay.
To plummet down, which means they're going to do a high-speed pass right by you. You're going to be in short range. You're going to have a real shot on them. They're going to have a real shot on you as they go by.
Okay. Do I get a counter, or should we just resolve that?
You can. This is what's going to happen. So you're going to let it happen, or are you going to try and get out of the way?
Oh, I'll definitely try and get out of the way.
Okay. So I'll open up the range. Alrighty then. This is an opposed roll, my friend.
Let's do it.
Your piloting versus their piloting. Okay. Which makes your difficulty, you're going to love this difficulty, be 1 purple, 2 red.
Wow. Wow. Okay, here we go. 1 purple, 2 red versus. I didn't explore piloting. It's okay. Piloting space. Yeah, okay. All right, I could do that. Let's roll. Ready? Here we go. What did I get? I can't even see it.
Fail with.
Okay, let's go.
Okay. They settle in behind you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Foggy did not like the maneuver you attempted, taking 2 more strain.
Banging. Come on!
Okay. Red lights are flaring in random points, but none of them are the serious ones. They're just the minor things that.
Gavin gets on the comm and he goes, "Go ahead, do it, you bullies! Do it! You chase the small ones! You might as well destroy me!" Let's go of the button.
Someone has regained control of their decorum, and they're saying, "Land your vessel or be destroyed."
I don't even know if he would be in the right state of mind to say what I want to say, but like in real gamesmanship terms, what would he say? I think he would say this. Presses the button and says, "I'll land my ship after you land yours." Let's go to the button.
somebody in the cockpit of the other ship just bursts out laughing and says, "I like this guy." But then he says, "Kill him."
All right. So what he does is, I guess this would be the sobering moment. We'll say, and in any typical Star Wars fashion, he presses the button. Whoa, 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 whoa! Nobody said kill. I said you land your ship first, and I'll land mine. I didn't say I was gonna kill you. And he lets go of the button.
Silence. The ship is hanging right behind yours. You can see it immense on your scanner.
All right. He puts his puts his finger up and he says, "Look, I just came from across the rim. I got on this planet. I saw you shooting at a small ship. It seemed to be broadcasting an SOS. To me, that looks like a large aggressor. I don't want any problems, but quite honestly, I love the way this place smells, and I want to get back down to the surface so I can feel fantastic." And he lets go of the button.
Okay. The amused voice from before, that got very cold and lethal, comes back on and says, "So it was just a misunderstanding."
Pushes the button, looks, in that very kind of Han Solo-esque way. He's clicking on things, presses the button. Absolutely! Misunderstandings. Trying to click, trying to manipulate Foggy so that he can make sure that he can make a proper landing, start shutting off alarms, all the red buttons he's clicking and trying to make them green again. Misunderstanding, you got that 100% correct. And let's go to the button.
Yeah, what you've seen is, we're trying to recover our property. Our property has been stolen. That's all.
Presses the button.
The plants here can cause some pretty strange hallucinations.
Presses the button, says, "Well, all right." And his lore kicks in. His lore, ecologically speaking, this place is very unique. I'll grant you that. But it's hard for one like me to come into an environment like this, see the activities take place and not take action. I hope you understand. Let's go to the button and says, just takes a deep breath. Just realizes that he almost got killed.
Sure. We're going to set down now. We've detected that our escaping ship has crashed. So we'll set down first, and you follow us in.
He clicks on the button. He goes, "That's excellent news. I'm sorry for the loss of your property. Let's go discuss this in the area I landed. I'd like to breathe over it for a moment. Let's go to the button."
Well, we were thinking we could land at the crash site.
You lead, I'll follow. Let's go to the button. And he's assuming that they can't hear him when he lets go of the button, but he's so bad shit crazy right now that he doesn't even realize that they can hear everything that he says. And he goes, he starts speaking to Foggy and says, "All right, Fogs, look, I don't know who these guys are. I don't know what they know, and I don't know what their property is. But all I know is we almost just got killed, and I'm not in the mood to die tonight. He starts talking to himself. Did you take any samples of that stuff? He starts looking around, and then he realizes that he touched real necrophil. Starts looking at his fingers, tries to see if he could find any residue. Being the explorer, he tries to look for. Oh my God! He just starts looking around, and he's like, "Foggy, follow!" He presses like an autopilot and sets the course to follow the ship. And I'm assuming they all hear this.
That all happens. They find a safe place to land on a massive beach, right, next to a ruined, extinct volcano. It's a huge kind of offshore barrier reef or something like that, which creates calm waves. It's an idyllic setting. The smaller vessel has indeed impacted against the ruins of that volcano, and you can see survivors crawling around on the hull in a frenzy, perhaps trying to do repairs as you come in for your autopilot landing. Foggy doesn't really like doing the autopilot landing, and there have been better landings, but you come in okay.
So he hits the ground. Come on! Presses the controls to see if he can disembark. Presses the wrong controls. The coffee pot goes on. Presses the correct control. Finally, come on! Finally, the ramp comes down, and he chooses to disembark. Goes to his bag, opens it up, grabs his blaster, puts his blaster in his belt. Doesn't hold it when he disembarks. Comes out, starts walking out of the ship. Everybody okay?
So from the other ship, which is really quite nicely painted, if old, comes sauntering this very relaxed-looking fellow in a brown vest and a loose-fitting white shirt. He's eating some kind of exotic fruit. He's got a big blaster on his hip, and he just waves in a friendly fashion. And he's got his eyes on the shipwreck.
Seems to of the individual. Gavin was expecting somebody much more official based upon the conversation that he has. Noticing the garb that this individual is wearing, he kind of puts his hands down and he goes, "A smuggler?"
The official smuggler's uniform.
Right. Starts walking towards the gentleman and takes a deep breath and looks at the ocean on the beach. Looks at this whole scene reminds him of Alderaan, and he just he stops in his tracks, and he hasn't felt a beach since Alderaan, and he bends down and grabs some sand, and he smells it, but it's not the same. It doesn't smell like his planet. And he puts it down, kind of scoffs it off, and his eyes get a little bit watery for a moment, but he shakes it off real quick because he doesn't want to show weakness. Starts walking towards who this figure is.
The assumed smuggler is also making his way toward you. I'm saying, it's a nice place, isn't it? Calm.
Well, provided that I almost died twice within the last 10 minutes in this location, I can only say that it's as good as it's going to let it be.
The islands are a little bit safer. The uninhabited islands, the smaller islands, are a little bit safer than the plateaus. There's some really nasty stuff up there. Of course, the open ocean is probably the most dangerous.
So I've seen.
What's the name of the animal that I saw? Just so I know. Can I just make it up?
Yeah, make it up.
Yeah.
Something whale.
Right. Yeah.
A leviathanic whale just came up and it did its sonic call. Almost destroyed my ship. It was at a pretty good distance, but I tell you, I turned on my Z to get away from that thing. I'm glad you didn't kill me, though.
Puts his hand out.
Says, it's a pleasure to meet you. My name's Gavin. Gavin Fell.
Nice to meet you, Captain Fell. You can call me Captain 8.
Well, Captain 8, wherever you come from, do they shake hands?
Absolutely. I'm happy to shake your hand. And he transfers his fruit and shakes your hand. Where are you from? Your accent sounds familiar.
I am from various locations. The last location I was from was from the Alderaan star system. But, that would be home, I guess.
Tough break.
Well, could be worse. I wouldn't. Could be me not here talking to you right now about it. We all have to move on and find those who we've left behind or have been left behind with us. And that's
True.
why I'm here.
There are a few of your people working for us on this planet.
So I've heard. I've heard that a lot of Alderanians are performing some hard labor around the galaxy. I no doubt think that your labor is not going to be easy, considering that we don't have a home planet anymore. But being that as it may, you seem like an honorable individual, and I'm sure that your hospitality extends way beyond that of a conversation and a handshake.
Absolutely. We were about to dine.
Hmm.
That moment of clarity passes, and he says, that he goes, "What are you eating?"
Well, lots of non-hallucinogenic fruits and some very fine fish from the sea.
Well, examine this planet in a very quick glance, and I could say that anything non-hallucinogenic is going to be beneficial. I'm not really sure how the sea life is, but I am hungry, and I'm sure that my stomach would not mind dining with you if you are offering.
Now, you wouldn't happen to be looking for work, are you? Is that why you came to the system?
No, I'm not looking for work. I'm looking for a lost artifact.
I was about to ask you
It's an
where
it's an
it was,
absolute
but
lie. It's completely lies. But okay, go on.
I was about to ask you where the artifact was, but then it's sunk in that you said it was lost. So.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
He stutters. Obviously, the worst liar ever in the galaxy.
it's not that it's lost. It's that I can't find it, which
oh,
makes a completely different scenario.
well, as far as we can tell, this planet was never inhabited.
Never.
Yeah.
Hmm. So you decided to build a labor camp here?
Well, you go where you mine where the resources are.
As soon as he says the word mine, Gavin starts to feel uncomfortable. He doesn't like the concept of mining. He doesn't like the concept of the labor that goes along with mining, and he does not like the concept that Alderanians are now being used as labor for that.
Right.
However, as a result of that, in the back of his brain going on, he says,
Well, I used to mine as a young boy. I was a heavy laborer. I knew the work.
You got quite a build on you.
It's more storage than anything else these days.
So, like he's gesturing toward the ship, and as he does so, there's a squad of 4 guys who are wearing some pretty snazzy body armor.
"Yeah,
You know, they're making their way over to the wreck site, and they're not in any particular rush.
and they're
And
not approaching. They're not
they're not
approaching
approaching
us."
you. No.
Okay.
They're heading off to the wreck. They're going to have to make their way through heavy foliage and then ascend the side of the mountain to get up where the ship actually crashed.
All right.
And they're not overly, they're not heavily armed. They're not going with like carbines or anything. But
All right. Gavin he's feeling out the situation as best as he can, considering his strain level. Kind of considers the movements that are going on, considers the conversation that has been had thus far, and he does not have the ability to use subtlety at this point. And he just plainly says,
So you've got a Alderanian slave camp mining for you. Somebody stole your goods, and most likely they were Alderanians trying to escape from you. You tried to kill them. I tried to rescue them. They died, or now in that wreckage over there. You're going to reclaim them, and we're going to go back to the camp, and you're going to enslave me as well.
If you're worth enslaving.
Oh, no, I'm not
Tell me
worth
about your ship.
enslaving. He goes, I'm not worth enslaving. I'm worth employing.
Well, you just said you weren't looking for work.
No, I wasn't looking for work until I met you.
Do tell. Worth employing in what capacity? As a miner?
Well, as you can see from this phenomenal physique, I am one that can mine quite well. However, you'll have problems fitting my broadness into the small spaces to assimilate any veins. So perhaps I would not be the best mining material for you. However, I am quite the explorer. As you can see, I get around. I have a ship that can get me there, and I have a horrible aptitude to make friends. So,
And yet, I like you.
It's, my mother called it unnatural charm.
Well, you used the word slave earlier. I'm not a fan. I transported laborers to this place. I provide them with protection, with sustenance. They provide me with labor, and we are building a small settlement. What's wrong with that?
Do they make a wage?
Well, not yet.
Well, then they're slaves.
Well, I suppose, but I said not yet, not ever. Not yet.
Right. Well, look.
They're working off a debt.
I'm assuming through the conversation he has to at this point be recovering some type of strain. I mean, give him something. Give him a damn point. You can't be batshit crazy all day. But anyway, I'm just teasing. All right, so he basically he just continues on. He's established the fact that there is slavery. Gavin is there's many points of the conversation that he's going to pursue, and the first is this. Look, I cannot stop the enslavement of my people. It is impossible. 500 million Alderanians spread throughout the galaxy, 4 billion destroyed. I cannot say that what you are doing is right, and I cannot endorse it. You can take me as a slave now, and I will be the worst miner you've ever had. Or we can work something out that will eliminate my need to crawl under mountains for you, and perhaps make a solid gesture of wage so that I can help you benefit in such a way that perhaps eventually, and he takes a deep breath, I can provide you with enough profit to get them out of slavery.
Well, here I was just thinking I was going to drug you and take your ship and, feed you to the whales, but keep talking. You're going to explore this planet for me. You're going to convince the Alderanian laborers who are paying off their debt. They're not slaves. The Alderanian laborers, you're going to convince them that they can achieve their freedom easily, and you will be the living example. Is that what you're proposing to me?
If you feel that's the easiest way to do it. I had another idea, but I will let that idea stand. I'm not pushy.
Tell me your idea. I'm all ears.
I must be honest with you. I don't think I have the stomach to deal with them. You notice, the NPC would notice that there is an extreme amount of sorrow
that is conveyed in the statement.
Seeing my people in that condition may not be the best, but I do have specific skill sets that could benefit you, especially on such a rich
He looks around.
moon. I am well versed in various laws, ecologically, as well as geology and many others that could further advance your efforts here. But I will need to explore the planet more. I will need to ensure that every effort you take here will manifest the most profit for you.
And then that moment of clarity passes.
But before that, I need to talk to my ship. I need to talk to my ship and make sure that everything's okay. Because, quite honestly, I'm scared. And I don't know what to do. Look, you have my people, you've got the money, you've got,
He points to the other guy.
you got the firepower. I'm trying to make some type of bid so that we can go into business. I know I can make you this money. What kind of profit would you need to free the people? How many do you got? What money are we talking about? How many credits? And what amount of time? But wait 1 second.
He pulls his pad out, and he goes,
Hang on, we're gonna have to take a very brief intermission. There's some maddening thing going on in my living room.
all right. Yes, sir. All right, so I'm going to... I'm sorry I broke out laughing, but it was just exactly what the character would have done at that point in time. He would have started talking about the ship. So at this point in time, the Gavin has no idea what to do. He is all he knows is that the only thing that he can do is do what has allowed him to survive up until this point, which is use his ability to explore and his knowledge that he has gained of environments, ecologically, geologically, and so on and so forth, and use that to his advantage. He is a horrible pilot, as you can see. I think his piloting skill is like a 1, and his astrogation is nothing. Actually, his astrogation is pretty good, but other than that, I mean, he's not the character that you think he is, and this is the end result. All right, so he starts talking to his data pad, waiting for the answer to see what the proposition is going to be. He starts talking, and Gavin starts talking to a person aboard the ship named Foggy. And
Foggy, look, I'm talking right now. Could you please make sure everything's prepped inside? I'm not even sure if we're going to make it out of here.
He just unclicks the button, looks at the individual before him, and just basically says,
so there it is. I don't know what your numbers are, but I'm here to make sure that they can get better without my people helping you.
Well, I feel like I've been a little blessed today with you falling into my lap. And, you know, as we've been standing here talking to Foggy, your shipmate?
Oh no, Foggy's my ship.
So as we've been talking to your ship, I've noticed that there are some repairs that it could benefit from. I have fabulous techs. If you felt like joining our operation, we could definitely discuss doing it for a wage. I would like to do some things in trade, such as ship repair, and maintenance, supplies, that sort of thing. But if you would be willing to do a professional survey of this planet, you would be helping your people immensely.
Let me check my character sheet to make sure I'm role-playing this right. He has a 4 intellect. Okay.
He's a bright guy.
He's a bright guy. All right. So, but he's done because he's very low wisdom. So what he does is this. He says,
Look, I don't want to parse words with you, but there's nothing in that statement that even alludes to the fact that I'm going to be able to help anybody. You and I both know that. I'm not looking to bargain with you. I don't have any chips on the table. But I
You
will
have
tell you,
skills, do you not?
well,
You are an explorer. Explorer.
no. See, I have skills, but you've got guns, and skills mean nothing in light of that. And we both know that.
the
Oh,
moment of the moment of clarity passes, and, and
please, sir, please, Captain Fell, please listen. You have me wrong. I don't want to spend the rest of my life having people coming up to me and saying, "You're a slaver." I see myself as a provider of opportunity.
well, I do too.
You could bring that day forward when I become, governor or something, rather than slave lord.
Okay, I'm going to roll. It's something I want to roll for, and I think I just have to do it because it's going to be so good if I succeed. Um,
What's in your mind? What would you like to do?
I am going to what I want him to do is I want him to baffle this individual. Like I don't even know if that's coercion, but I want him to baffle him, and I want him to take a data pad out with that. Inside the data pad, there's some charts and statistics that convey the environmentals of the planet. All right, and in those charts and statistics, I want Gavin to start reading them aloud, and I want the outcome of what he reads that individual to impact him in such a way that he will be convinced that he can make money.
Ah, all right then. Well, there's a couple of ways that we could do it. We could do it through deceit, but I'm doubtful on that one.
Yeah.
So what I would rather do represent this as a lore roll. Okay, so that you can overwhelm him with the information.
Yeah. Okay.
And then put a coda on the end there that just tells him what you said. And that means you can make a lot of money.
Yeah. All right. So what's the difficulty going to be?
Well, okay. Now you are trying to con him. That's basically
Well, actually, but see, look. Gavin's extremely brilliant. He's just unwise. So he has the knowledge. He just doesn't know how to properly convey it. So that's the problem. I'm trying to convey it in such a way so that it's convincing.
Right. Well, then he's a little on his guard.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty strange situation for him to be in, and he also seems like you have roused him from a tremendous boredom. So we will simply make it hard.
Okay. So I'll start narrating the role play before I actually make the roll. And here
All
it
right,
goes.
Ecologically speaking, you have environmentals here that are a Class C. That's not good. Probably because the weather patterns shift so much that it's going to be hard to maintain any consistent mining. That's probably what you've been suffering at this point, which means that you have to ration your slaves up until a point in which they are well fed until the weather passes, and then you have a short amount of time into mining. If I use this, and he starts hitting the data pad and chart, holograms leap up, and I can plot the weather patterns, make this specific algorithm, we can ensure that you're always following behind the storms, and you'll be mining consistently throughout the year with no. He points up and he goes, rain.
Well, can't argue with that. Whatever you just said.
All right, so he rolls to see if it works.
Whoa!
Yes, I don't care about that threat. I don't care. 4 successes. That's monstrous.
All right.
So please let me know what happens. That'd be awesome.
Oh, well, he's super happy. He's super happy with you. He puts his arm around you. He's leading you back toward his ship, and he's saying, "You see, I had a sense about you. As soon as you threatened to blow me out of the sky, as soon as you tried to knock a mountain down on top of my ship, I knew that you were the kind of go-getter we need around here."
Thank you.
And tell you what, rather than paying you a wage, what I'm thinking about is a commission, right off the top.
What kind of commission?
Well,
What are we talking?
like, I was thinking 15%.
Obviously, this is probably the threat rolling in, so I'll play it as such. Gavin absolutely is intimidated right now. He does not know even how to proceed.
But we can talk about that after dinner.
Sure.
He fumbles and he says,
15%, absolutely.
All right. We shake on it like gentlemen.
Absolutely.
I'm starting to feel extremely intimidated.
You're gonna follow him up into the ship.
Gavin kind of backs away. He says, I think I should go back to my ship. It doesn't seem it's going to do any good by itself here.
You're not hungry?
Yeah.
And he just kind of slumps and starts walking.
Come on in. Brings you up into the lounge. It's already been set. Just nice chilled beverages, lots of what must be local fruit, and some more traditional spacer fare, which has been dressed up with a chef's touch. There's a highly polished protocol droid standing nearby, welcoming Captain Fell to the lounge.
Welcome to yourself. What? This is nice.
Thank you very much. I can't wait to get a tour of your ship.
I don't think I could even come close to comparing to this. This is top notch. What are you mining?
We'll talk about what we're mining a little later. Have a seat.
He's just completely taken aback, just absolutely looking at all of the exquisite furniture and all the art. Everything around him is just completely amazing, and he's just sitting down quite quietly. Doesn't know what to do.
Right. Now all the inner doors are sealed, like the crew quarters or to any of the holds, and even up to the upper gun port. This is sealed away, so you're alone with Captain 8 and with his unnamed protocol droid, and a nice dinner. Behind Captain 8, there's a screen visible, part of the astrogation console, and it's showing scenes from this planet.
Okay.
And as you eat, he fills you in that they're mining for crystals. Yes.
Can I roll for astrogation to see if I can read anything of any consequence from that flashing screen?
For astrogation?
Well, you said the astrogation is flipping through different scenes of the planet, right?
Of the planet from the surface.
From the surface, right? So, in conjunction with my lore and astrogation, just at a quick glance, let's say I see 4 or 5 slides. can I see something of any significance? And
Let's
what would I?
find out.
All right, that's what I want. I think that would be something that he would at least try to do.
As a Fringer, I'm going to throw in a boost die for that roll.
Okay. And the difficulty?
Difficulty will be 2.
And as the Captain 8's talking, Gavin kind of goes, "Yeah, absolutely," and he's looking directly at the screen, and he fails with 2 advantage.
2 advantages, which might be useful to alleviate some strain.
Yes, actually, yes, please.
Okay. So you are a bit misled. This ship probably hasn't left this system for quite some time.
Yeah.
And, so everything's set in a neutral position from your point of view.
Okay.
And the atmosphere is quite thick, making it difficult for you to see stars from the surface.
But I did deduce that he was mining crystal.
They are mining. He comes out and says that they're mining crystals. Yes.
Based upon that comment, crystals on a moon with a lot of water. What kind of crystals are they?
Well, they're quite useful in enhancing and focusing energy. So either as a new kind of power source or, for weapons technology, we're expecting they're going to turn quite a hefty profit. We just have to amass enough of them.
With his geological knowledge, he knows, I'm assuming that he knows. He knows that there are certain crystals that can harness energy and at great frequencies, either at light or, just even antimatter, whatever. So he goes through the codex in his mind of what we could be possibly talking about here. And he realizes, I'm assuming that he realizes that there's a lot of money to be made around here. That's why the ship is so beautiful. That's why the droid is so polished. We're talking big money. So that affects him in this way.
There's also some threat. This is the sort of cargo that the Empire usually decide is for them only.
At the mention of the Empire, you see Gavin's face turn red. Captain 8, you seem like, as far as lately, you seem like one of the most honest slave traders I have met.
Please, planetary governors.
Future planetary governor.
Fair enough.
Well, as the future planetary governors go, I can say that you would most likely probably be one of the better ones I have met, and I will tell you this. I have a huge disdain for the Empire. It is well beyond normal levels. And I think that you would benefit from that in the long run. I have no fear of them or their interference.
I'm not sure you have any fear at all.
Well, I do have a breaking point. And I believe you, of the few people I have met in the galaxy, have gotten me there today. But I will tell you this. The Empire can't make me get there. But you can. So, my fearlessness against my gravest enemy is your best benefit.
The enemy of my enemy.
Oh, well, I don't talk that well. But I'll say this. That is true. So, this trade situation you have going on here, you have. I'll take your commission, 15%.
15% of whatever we produce to be renegotiated at the end of 1 year.
And what milestone shall I reach for you in order to provide some serenity to the Alderanians in your oversight?
If you can double production through your contribution, all debts are paid.
And the margin that I'm shooting for, what are your profits now? And I'm assuming we're not going to discuss that over these.
Yeah, so that's when the paperwork comes out, and you talk into the night about the crystal production, the difficulties that they've been having, most of which you correctly assumed, and some of the other difficulties were based purely in the unique flora and fauna of this moon, which he would like your insight into as well, how they can spot it in advance, how they can not settle there. But they seem to find that the richest supplies of crystal are in the most dangerous parts of the planet. And then he lets you know that what they've been doing in the interim is destroying an ancient crystal temple.
Does the conversation start from there?
Yeah.
Are they still on formal terms, or do they? Is it still?
The wine has been flowing, the meat and fruit.
Yeah. So what? So it's that environment. I just want to get the feel for it.
Yeah.
Hey, Ada, you're killing me here. You're just trying at the temple. What are you doing?
It's empty.
We don't even know who was there. We don't even know what we're destroying. We don't even know why it's there.
Well, they're not using it, so they don't need it.
Yeah, but if we used that level of scrutiny on everything in the world, we would have nothing. You gotta
There's
think.
nothing else on this world, I think.
Well, that's what I'm here for. Don't do that. We can go wherever you want on the whole planet. Leave that place alone.
Okay, but that's going to drop production.
Well, then let's go mine it.
Okay.
But simple. I'm easy.
He feels horrible about that decision, but he is so in tune with getting to the goal of hitting his margin that he will destroy the temple. But
wait. Okay, look. What I want to do is can you give me a day to survey it? Let me scan it. Awesome. Okay, look, I'll scan it. After I'm done scanning it, I can put it into the archives. You can do whatever you want with it, but we can't let it go. We just can't destroy it without knowing what's there.
You've convinced me.
Laura, it's in my blood.
All right. I'll have the coordinates sent to your datapad.
Excellent.
And then he doesn't want to talk business anymore. And it becomes purely which one of you is going to pass out first.
All right.
I will have you know that, Sir, Captain 8, I do not have this belly. It came with a price, okay? Many men before you have come to try to subdue me with drink. None have succeeded. I will
challenge
know,
accepted.
Sir.
All right. So am I rolling or what? Let's see
No,
what
no.
happens. I want to see what. Okay.
Well, all right, all right,
Let's see what happens.
all right. So this defaults to your brawn, this being a resilience roll.
All right, 3 versus
And
contested.
it's opposed as your goal is to beat him, right? So it's 2 and 1.
2 purple and 1 red.
And 1 red. Now you are, as you have described, portly.
Right.
So we'll give you a boost die for the added mass.
Yes. All right, here we go. And roll it.
Why, is that a despair I see? In a drinking contest?
Oh my god. That is so horrible. All right.
You have no memory past a certain point of last night. There was some kind of conversation about a girlfriend or something, and then you awaken. It's probably close to dinner time of the next day.
Oh.
I don't know where I am.
And fresh as a daisy, Captain Nate is leaning in the doorway of the crew cabin that you're in, saying, "Well, good afternoon."
You drank me under the table.
I drank you under the ship. That's where I found you.
Under the ship? I can't believe it.
I think you were digging a hole to the other side of the planet.
I remember. No, I don't.
You want some breakfast?
Sure.
I'm assuming that he would most likely at this point want a death stick. Just because. So
Wasn't good for you.
Yeah, exactly. But okay, so yeah.
So once you're fed and back in motion, the captain really does want his survey, and he provides you with the coordinates. He's all brusque and businesslike in front of his crew. You can see out the front cockpit window of the YT 2400 that the reclamation project has pretty much been stalled in the crash ship. It may be there forever, but the survivors have been pulled out. They've had medical treatment. Not all of them look to you like native Alderanians. There are other people down on their luck, and they seem a little uneasy around the captain. This might be for legitimate reasons. It might be because of the whole slavery issue. Who can say at this point in time? But what he wants you to do is go survey that crystal temple on the moon that you have pretty strong recollections him saying had never been inhabited.
Right. At this point, he doesn't care. All he cares about is taking a shower, cleaning himself up, going to that temple, and scanning it as any good explorer would. Obviously, people lived here before. There was inhabitation. Who knows why it's there, but he wants to know why. That is his focus. He takes a shower. I'm assuming that happens with success, and I don't have to roll for it. I'd probably fail if I did. And he gets himself ready, gets his bag ready, gets his scanners ready, and he where's his ship?
It's right where you left it.
Okay. And it's accessible. They're still in that same locale?
Same
Or is it-
location, nothing's changed.
Okay. All right, good. So he goes up to Froggy, and he goes up, walks up the plank, leans against one of the screens where there's that green to red flashing light that conveys Foggy's emotions.
Or system damage, depending on your point of view.
Exactly right. Or absence of shields. He starts to whisper. He goes, I might not make it, and I just want to say thank you for everything you've done. And if I do come back, I promise you I will make you better. You have been very good to me. And he pats the ship very softly, and he says, now don't move because they'll destroy you. And he just walks down the plank and walks past Captain 8's ship and walks directly towards the Crystal Temple. He turns back really quick. Is Captain 8 watching him?
The Crystal Temple is on another island.
Oh, I thought it was here. I thought it was at this locale. Sorry,
no, it's not another island. But
I apologize.
But the despair may easily have convinced.
Right.
Where
I just start walking. I'm walking up the beach. I do notice that there's nothing there, and I turn around, and then I come back onto Foggy, and I say, I am back, and I am sorry, but I need you to take me somewhere. Remember what I said before when we get there and I leave you. And he gets on the ship, takes the controls, and he bangs on the dashboard with his traditional treatment, abusive relationship that he has with Foggy Horizon, and they lift off towards their destination.
All right. You have no trouble finding the coordinates. It's a little difficulty finding a good place for a ship this size to land, but you do get a couple of good aerial views of the Crystal Temple, which is brilliant blue against the volcanic rock of the island that it's on. It's part of a long chain of these really tiny islands that extend off into the horizon, and according to the coordinates that you were given, the scans that you were given will form up with what passes for a mainland on this world. Almost like the tops of little volcanoes, or like someone skipping a stone across the ocean, culminating in this island, this shattered volcano, and in the cup of this volcano is this natural upthrust of this brilliant blue crystal, which has definitely been shaped by intelligent hands into what can only be some kind of religious or inspiring structure.
He whispers to Foggy. He says, "You see that girl? That means somebody was here before, and they were brilliant. Look at that." Starts to turn the ship down towards anywhere near the surface of the crystal structure.
Right, and as you get closer, coming in for a landing, there's signs that one of the walls, exterior walls of this temple structure, has been cut away. Carved into, shattered into pieces. There's heavy equipment for grinding up large pieces of crystal into manageable shapes. That's evident. There are no workers around.
Okay. All right, that's what I was going to ask. And Gavin kind of proceeds with an air of sorrow as he looks around at the technology just destroying this amazingly crafted artifact. He doesn't know who or why or what it's there, but going back to what his motivation and obligations are, in Gavin's mind, he thinks that it can help him get enough, even just the information or the knowledge of this place could bring him enough money or access to information that can bring him closer to his family. It's a foolhardy thought, but it's there. He thinks that in some way that can get him close to his kid. And that's how he objectifies it. He looks at it in that manner. And he speaks into his calm, we're going to find them, and this is going to get us there. And just starts walking towards it, or actually into the structure.
All right. Now, when we began, we said we had about 2 hours. How are you holding up? I know you had a long day.
I'm going to collapse if I don't stop.
All right.
I hope my role playing was okay, dude. I am on 2 hours.
No, you're fine. Now, here's the thing. This one shot, of course, now ends on a bit of a cliffhanger, and I think you can get a sense of it in your mind as you're leaving, you know, the almost wreck of your YT-1000 behind you on this tropical beach, you know, volcanic sand, a black shattered cone of the volcano in front of you, and inside it, this brilliant blue, glinting crystal structure, half like chewed into by this mining equipment. And Captain Fell is on his way in to find something to help him restore, help him find his way to reconnect with his family. I think that's nice.
Yeah, that was absolutely brilliant and so fun to play, man.
I'm glad you had a good time.
Thank you very, 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 very much.
I hope we can do it again soon.
We will, and I hope that you enjoyed Gavin's antics.
Gavin's a nut.
Momentary brilliance and apparent idiocy. No, but I didn't know how to play him, but in the beginning. But when I saw the imbalance of intelligence versus wisdom, and then all of this knowledge, but just not being able to properly apply it, that's what you saw is what you got. I mean, that's the only way I thought.
That's cool. So, do you think Gavin will make an appearance?
I believe that while I am on the road, Gavin can make many appearances if you have the time.
Cool.
You know my schedule when I'm on the road, so if we can schedule time to play during those weekends,
right.
I would definitely like to continue this, man.
Cool. And I look forward to seeing how he might develop in the Tides of Change as well.
Well, I have him reserved for more. Oh boy. Well, first we have to see if Gavin or his ghost will happen in the Tides.
That's right.
We'll see if
he survive.
Right.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Get some rest.
Thank you. Awesome.
Talk to you soon.